Hello and welcome. Another edition of our Tuesday night live Q&A. Every Tuesday evening, for the most part, we try to do a live Q&A that provides you as parents, student athletes, the opportunity to ask questions directly, say hello, check in. I do this on Tuesdays because I have received such tremendous response by families, student athletes during the course of each week, particularly via DM and lots of emails. But, there's a lot of topics that we're going to cover tonight, so make sure you stick around. I want to let everyone know, spend some time this weekend watching some catching prospects, and they were utilizing the pro line ball out of a hack attack. And so, whether you're doing softball training, baseball training, outdoor, indoor, you're doing offensive work or defensive work, particularly when it comes to catching and learning the craft of receiving, the pro line ball is in stock. Lots of colleges, all levels and divisions now using the pro line ball. As I've mentioned before, Wake Forest, Penn State, many others all over the country utilize the pro line ball because it's dependable, it's indestructible, and you get a lot of reps. And if you go to prolineballs.com and you type in Blue Book as a code, you will receive your 15% discount on all of your training balls. They also have plyo balls, the heavier balls that you can use for throwing drills if you are so inclined. Now, I have had a lot of people ask me, tell me if you've heard this before. We are at the time of year where exit meetings are those meetings where college coaches meet with student athletes, also high school coaches, but for the most part, 'tis the season where those that have not made had the necessary wins to go to the conference tournament, they begin to wind down their seasons and they begin to have exit meetings. And all you have to do is take one look into the world of social media, particularly X, formerly known as Twitter, and you can see that there are already people that are deciding things like, due to unforeseen circumstances, I am going to be opening up my recruiting. Now, you may ask, how do college exit meetings have any impact on my student athlete if A, they are not graduating this year, or if they are graduated, they've already committed and they've already filled out their paperwork? Well, let's start there. It is imperative in today's world that we are living in with regard to college athletics, regardless of sport. This evening, we're talking baseball. I'll also sprinkle in some softball. That college coaches are pretty much fine-tuning rosters each and every year. The days of us talking about college roster construction over a 3 to 4 and soon to be 5-year window, those days are gone. And so college coaches have determined, based on the fall of 2025, the spring of 2026, who can, who can't, who did, and who didn't. So they have some decisions to make on whether athletes will be coming back. Conversely, athletes have decisions on whether they want to go back. Because I speak to a tremendous amount of families, which is growing so rapidly. I would say that the people that I converse with now are more portal people and parents and athletes than the high school, the high school athletes. And whether it's because they don't feel they got significant playing time, the coach was mean, the fit is just not right, which does happen, meaning the campus may not be a fit. There may be a tremendous amount of unique pieces to an athlete's puzzle, academically, culturally, campus-wise. So the exit meeting is a ebb and a flow between coaches that are going to let athletes know there's no room at the inn, and they feel that it would be in the athlete's best interest to enter the portal. You also have athletes that feel it's not a good fit, so they're notifying the coaches, some unexpectedly, to figure out that they are not coming back. Now, also, you must factor in the junior college athletes. A lot of time, junior college athletes either A, are graduating, they've done their 2 or 3 years, and now they are going to be on the lookout for opportunities at various 4-year programs from across the country. All of which to say, during this particular time of year, we have 3 components that you, as families of high school athletes, must begin to factor into your decision-making process. And so I really want to start with number one. A lot of what happens during the exit meetings used to be more skewed to the younger athletes that either A, weren't developing at the pace that the coaches were hoping, or B, the talent did not show itself during the course of the fall or the spring, and they make that decision. But now it's going to be making its way to the upperclassmen. And unlike in years past, where a lot of coaches had sentimental connectivity to athletes, and rightfully so, they've spent 2 or 3 years in a program, and obviously their desire is to graduate from a specific school. They've been there for their entire college career, but now you're starting to see where college coaches, they have to make room. They have to make room, whether it's an underclassman. So this isn't just a freshman or a sophomore issue. It can be a rising junior, and believe it or not, it can be a rising senior. And that is a huge turn of events that I don't really hear anyone talking about, to be perfectly candid with you. And in reality, coaches now are going to agonize, and yes, they don't enjoy cutting athletes. These are humans, they're people, they're not video games. And while most families will say that coach is a jerk or other colorful language, at the end of the day, the coaches have decisions that have to be made, and they're compensated to make those decisions when they're putting rosters together. So you have that decision being made. Does the athlete fit the direction of the program? Next, really, if you think about college athletics, and all we have to do is take a real deep dive and look all across college baseball, not just Division I. And when I say this as the parent of a pitcher that's still playing as of today when we're talking. Look at some of the scores. We're talking about football scores and pitching between the tighter strike zones, the more physical, the physicality of the hitters, the age of the hitters, pitching, especially at the Division I level, is highly, highly sought after and coveted. And so teams that were trying to get by on 17 or 18 pitchers out of 34 student athletes are figuring out, well, maybe we have to rethink this. Maybe we're going to need 20. And in some cases, maybe we're going to need 22, which is going to open doors for two-way, positions / pitchers. But my reason for saying that is a roster may need to clear out infielders or outfielders so that they can begin to add pitchers. And I believe we are going to see that trend continue. Next, the JUCO athletes that are coming in, they're coming in. So if I am a college coach and I am looking at a portal athlete that is a freshman or a sophomore that does not have much of a resume, and parents, you must factor this in. This is why I'm saying it. Sometimes I'll say something and then a parent will ask me a question. I really want you to understand, if a college athlete is a freshman or a sophomore and has not played very much, and they've been more of a spectator than a participant, but yet they're coming down, maybe they're coming from a Division I school or a Division II school, but yet there is a lot of JUCO athletes that have been playing a lot of baseball, whether it's their redshirt freshman and sophomore year or their freshman and sophomore year. College coaches are going to tend to gravitate. And I have a lot of dialogue with coaches all week, all levels and divisions. And they're always saying, we're looking for those athletes that have a body of work, a resume. And that only makes sense. And so all of this goes back to the bigger point, and we talk about it every single week, is getting that decision for your college plans, your college future right. Making decisions that will allow your student athlete to be more of a participant as opposed to a spectator, and really being able to, to kind of get their resume created. And so there are countless coaches that will call me from NAIA schools, and they'll say, Walt, I'm looking for pitchers. Walt, I'm looking for outfielders, or I need a catcher, a premium catcher. And then I'll broach that with a family. NAIA, not really sure. Why? Well, they're not really geographically desirable. Okay, but before you dismiss them out of hand, maybe you want to either A, do some homework on them, via online and virtual tour, or maybe speak with a coach and figure out what that opportunity may be. Nah, not really interested. So college coaches have they have roster spots, but what ends up happening is we end up listening to those voices that are trying to tell families, oh, don't worry about that. It's going to all work itself out. And 9 times out of 10, those are the situations that end up just dissolving in the fall. And there becomes this animosity between family versus coach. My son's not playing. The coach doesn't like him. The coach is a jerk. And to be perfectly honest with you, a coach is going to play a talented athlete, unless they're really a knucklehead, either in the classroom or on the campus. But if a student athlete is, a good, moral fiber, and they're really good people within the campus, and they demonstrate skill sets, there's not a lot of college coaches that are going to penalize anyone, because they just don't like them. That doesn't happen quite a bit. And so now what we have to begin to think about is, are you being honest with regard to your A, expectations of college? B, are you being honest with regard to your student athletes' ability levels, their floor and ceiling? And more than anything else, are you really paying attention to the current high school athletes that are saying, due to unforeseen circumstances, I have to reopen my recruiting? Are you being recruited? What happened at the old school? And if you're reopening, are you being recruited, or are you looking for opportunities? Because you really have to be leery of how you're constructing your social media posts. I've had a number of college coaches say to me, I'm, bamboozled here, like opening your recruiting, like you're seeking multiple offers. Are you looking for the right fit? You really want to phrase that correctly so that it applies to your current situation, obviously your student athlete. It's imperative that someone is checking your social media before you just start throwing things out there and hoping that something sticks. And so I'm going to put my glasses on here soon. So if you have questions, I see a couple of them coming in. Be sure to put them out there because I want to make sure I'm answering questions rather than babbling. I've had a few questions come in during the course of the week with regard to, well, it's late spring. How do we even, if we haven't committed to a college, are colleges even still taking athletes? The answer to that question is yes. A lot of schools operate on what they call a rolling admissions process. Rolling admissions allows coaches, admissions department to go through the application process at this time of year. Some of the higher level academic schools do not have that capacity. But if you're looking at schools, sometimes various state schools, some private schools will have rolling admissions. Oftentimes, they do have money that's available that was not allocated out or was returned into the financial aid coffers due to students not choosing to attend the school that were awarded a placement at the school and a financial aid package, but they opted to go to a different school. As it pertains to today's recruiting path, one of the things that I want you as parents and student athletes to really begin to recognize is whether it's a JUCO, whether it's an NAIA school, whether it's a Division III school, the Division I schools, and I know I'm kind of reiterating, Division I NCAA, Division I NAIA, Division I AJCAA, and the Division I college JUCOs, that Division I level, there's a lot of bodies that are going to begin to shake out during the portal, and Division I is essentially rising above with regard to they have a cap. Some Division I at the NCAA level has name, image, and NIL and collective deals. Some, not all schools have a full allotment of 34. Most are operating between 11.7 and say 15 to 17. Some are being reduced from 11.7. So it's really incumbent upon parents to begin to understand at that Division I level, you need to have a projectable professional grade tool present: arm strength, foot speed, bats, power, ball strike, defense. You don't have to have all five, but you need to have one that's clearly present and the rest are projectable. Everything else is kind of open. And by that, I mean NAI Division II, NCAA Division II, Division III NCAA, JUCO Division I, II, and III. And then you have, this ever-present, what I call, you have the California, you have the Florida, and you have the Texas JUCOs. In those three states in particular, the level of competition and the amount of bodies that are showing up there at the JUCO level is substantial. So you really want to have a really good understanding. Okay, am I going to do a JV/fund development team? Is that something that's going to appeal to me? You have to ask these questions ahead of time, because if you're thinking, I can't go Division I, let me just roll into, and if you've watched any of our coaches' corners, every single coach to a man, regardless of level or division, says, hey, if you think you're rolling in here and just going to start because you're a three-hole hitter in high school, it just doesn't work that way. And boy, oh boy, if that is really proving itself in a much larger capacity, strictly based on playing time with a lot of, like I saw Division III schools that had a large nucleus of Division I transfers, and a lot of the freshmen on Division III rosters did not get much playing time. And I saw a lot of athletes, express, am I ever going to get an opportunity to play here? Because what's lurking in the, coming down the pipeline is that 5 years of eligibility is still being refined. I don't even want to go there because we're still kicking that can down the road. Is it going to happen? As I've stated repeatedly, I feel it's going to happen, but I think there's going to be a lot of refining with regard to that. But that's once that gets finalized, and obviously they're trying to finalize it in May to be applicable to the fall of 26 and spring of 27, we may see another wave of portal athletes. And that will impact 26 and 27 high school athletes. Yes, 26. Let's see. If your son is asked to play in a collegiate summer league for only half the summer, what month would be better, June or July? June, and June. It seems to make sense to me that the most coaches will be gone for July. Yes. If we're talking about collegiate summer baseball, and I don't have a name here, I have Axe. I know you've been on here before. But if we're talking about from a portal perspective, yes, you want to be in June. July, by the middle of July, most of the portal will be wrapping up. We get the draft, the MLB draft. A lot of schools are starting to do their camps. So June, if at all possible, if you are that lucky and you get to select, June is definitely your month. Mr. Smith, how are you, sir? Is there any one tool that is more valued than others? Would you say that they're all on the same level? One tool. Okay, I would say foot speed. If you wanted me to rank tools, foot speed, ball strike, foot speed, arm strength, power, and then defense. But bear in mind that if I'm talking about a left fielder and a first baseman, defense is going to be much different than shortstop, center field, catcher. Everybody is really constructing a roster based on their pitching staff. Meaning, if our pitching staff throws a lot of ground balls, and they're looking for guys that can catch and throw, meaning they can play defense. Okay, I'm going to put a lot of value on foot speed and defensive metrics. And you really have to understand, where does your student athlete fit within the tool hierarchy? And you want to understand that whole floor and ceiling dynamic, because that allows you to create leverage. If you know your student athlete has elite foot speed and strong arm, and they're a shortstop or a right fielder potentially, you have leverage. That people are seeking that out. If you have a catcher that has, unbelievable feet and footwork, and their release is, quick and accurate throws, and they really block and receive well, you have a lot of leverage. So you want to know what your athlete does really well, but more importantly, you want to know where they need to really do their work. Where are they weak? So that's a great question. Hey, Coach. My dad and I love the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I have a question for you. 13, okay, 5'8", 150. My goal is to make varsity next year. How can I get bigger, stronger, and am I at a good weight right now? Okay, great question. Thank you for this question. I don't know what part of the country you're from, but thank you to you and your dad for watching. I do want to let you know a couple things. First and foremost, you want to take this very seriously over the next 8 to 10 months. Cannot stress this enough. Make sure you're either working with somebody like a Jeremy Fouts, really big believer in what he does. Jeremy Fouts is a gentleman that I have personally worked with and seen tremendous results. I saw high school 8th graders that were becoming high school freshmen and going into high school last fall at 139, and now are in that 165, 170 window. Their fastballs all went from like 72 up to 83, 84. Some of them, ended up, at the varsity level. I know I've worked with a lot of athletes. If there's nothing else that you do, you need to plug in a meal prep and a nutrition plan specifically for you. That you need to know what your caloric burn rate is. You need to know Put yourself in a calorie plus. You want to have like a surplus, and you want to have an independent evaluation from a strength certified PT, kinesiology, trainer that can teach you the right way to move weight for your body. You want to work on what they call hinge exercises, stretches. If you have the necessary skill sets, but you feel okay, if you want to be a varsity athlete, I don't know enough about your situation, what state you live in, what position you play, but you want to be in that 170 window. So you have 30 pounds. It can be done. And the sooner that you connect the strength with the nutrition and the meal prep and the supplementation, and you combine all of it, that will definitely help and play a major role. Keep me posted, and if you have any questions, let me know if I can connect you to Jeremy. Okay, 72. Okay, now look, if you are young, and so you should not be tying. Don't get into the habit of chasing a metric. Any kind of metric, 60-yard dash, arm speed as a pitcher, exit velocity as a hitter. Those are measurements of strength and movement efficiency. Do not confuse them with skill. In other words, you may be able to throw hard, but you don't have the skill to pitch, the craft of pitching. You may be able to hit a ball off of a tee hard, but you can't pick up spin, so you can't make ball strike off of a live pitch. And so you have to understand that all of this has to be one cohesive plan. You must understand that at your age, which is 13, you must allow your body to be able to handle what you are going to request from it. Meaning, if I go to the bank and I go in there and I really want to withdraw $1 million in $100 increments, but I only have $150 in there, I can't withdraw what I didn't deposit. And so for you as a 13-year-old, what you want to understand is you may want to withdraw 85 miles an hour, but you may have not made the necessary physical deposits, i.e. meal prep, nutrition, supplementation, strength training. If you stack days and you focus on stacking days and not chasing velocity, you'll find that as your body as it matures, as it grows, and you give it all of the necessary nutrients that it needs to grow. You also want to sleep, you want to hydrate, you want to do all that. All of the things that you're going to want to have at your disposal as a high school sophomore, junior, and senior will be there if you make the deposits into your body bank every single day. Don't just do it off season and don't do anything in season. Let's see. I can tell you love the game. Keep working hard. Don't let anybody tell you who you're capable of being. Make sure that you are doing the things every single day. Let's see. Coming from rising sophomore JUCO player, June, be there June. You want to be there in June. If you can be there in June, that's going to be a big evaluation time period. If you have to pick one or the other, obviously if you can be there for June and July, that's great. But if you can only pick one or the other, pick June if you have the ability. Okay, let me see here. We got Scooter and Scooter. Let's see what you have. Of the top 15 PBR, the alphabet players in Minnesota, all of them went D1. And exactly one is playing regularly as a freshman. Okay, so I want to talk about this because I get asked this question all the time, and I am not going to be passing judgment, although I will let you know that one of the alphabet group, I'll let you figure it out by doing a deep dive on Google, is currently for sale. And, they're going to be seeking a couple $1 billion as they make $40 million a year in profit. But, these PBRs in perfect games. Now, there are some very respected people in both organizations. I want to start there. But for the vast majority of athletes, even if they're ranked with a 10 or they're going to be ranked as a high-level player in their state, That does not, that cannot, that will not guarantee playing time. It will not. And so there's so many college freshmen that are frustrated and sophomores that are frustrated because they're not playing. And I attribute that to what typically happens if a parent or family opted to use a conventional recruiting type service. Like here's what I get all the time. Oh, I got people that can handle that. Oh, I got people that can handle that. And then the parents will come back to me and say, "Oh yeah, you've been talking to us about Division 3. This guy over here and this group over here, they can handle our name, image, and likeness, and they can handle all that. And we're going to go Division 1. And then a year later, well, it's not really working out. This guy's a jerk, and we're going to be can you help us in the portal?" No. No, I can't. And that happens so often now because there was a false level of expectation. And I don't want to blame anybody, but you're falling for the predatorial practices of people who are so, first of all, they're just not objective. They're not objective. Next, they don't have the resources and they don't have the knowledge of what actually is going on at all of the various levels of not only college baseball, but high school baseball, these, I don't even know what I want to call them anymore, these academies that want to put the name, and I'm just going to call a couple of them out. There's one in Florida, and I got to tell you, it's just bad. It's just bad. You're paying $30,000. And since when have we just decided as a society that education is not necessary? Okay, then what are you chasing college baseball for? If you're just looking to play baseball, go play a pickup baseball. Go play someplace. But don't try to tell a family, this is not worth it, that's not worth it. You should go here, you should go there. How do you know where they should go? Have you done any homework? Or how about this? A lot of these academies, well, we don't do recruiting. That's not a part of our process. We just provide you the facilities for skill set development, and we do online classes. I'm just telling you, those people are going to get caught with their proverbial pants down when this 5-year shakeout starts to be applied again at the Division 1 level, but starts to, when you start figuring out every other level, at least for the temporary time being, is only going to be 4. I hope people are prepared because the academic accredited institutions are the ones that are going to be in play. All this other stuff is going to get passed over. And a lot of families are getting hurt chasing a rabbit that is not leading them to the destination that they have been told that it is. And so you have to be aware that certain people don't care about the individual because it's just a never-ending cycle. The 17 and 18-year-olds and even 19-year-olds, they fall out. They might be angry they didn't get their money's worth, and they're screaming and yelling, but nobody can hear them because the next class is coming in of all the 14 and 15 and 16-year-olds, and they drown out all the 17 and 18 and 19-year-olds that are kicking and screaming, "Hey, we didn't find a place to play. Hey, I'm not playing at all. This stinks." You have to have an understanding of how this really works. And I get a huge kick out of these people. I played Division 1 baseball. My son played Division 1 baseball, and I know how to go about all this. And let me tell you the difference between talent and skill. And this is how you should approach. Hey, nobody is asking you that. I need you to tell me, okay, what should my plan be from 12 to 15, 15 to 18 or 19? And when I do get to the chance to play in college, what should I really be concerned with? What are my priorities? What should my focus be? Hype and BS are at an all-time high. Reality and genuine concern are at an all-time low. And that is a stone-cold fact. And parents really need to begin to understand the process of college, bigger than baseball. It's bigger than geographics. Your son or daughter has to spend 4 or 5 years of their life in that community, on that campus, in and around their peers, classmates, teammates, faculty, community members. Are they happy? When you drive away, are they genuinely happy? I know it's going to be hard, but is that a place that you can see them thriving in, way over and above baseball? Connecticut. Okay, well, Connecticut, 13 years old, Jeremy Fouts. Look him up, Corvive. Tell him that Coach Walter said to give him a call. And if you want his information, just send me an email at walter@coachbeede.com. Should a high school player in Iowa play fall ball as they cannot play Legion ball? I love Iowa because Iowa is one of the only states that I think gets this whole thing right. And if I was king of the baseball kingdom for a day and I had a magic wand, I would tell everybody in a cold weather state, we're not playing baseball in March, April, and May. We're going to play baseball in May, June, and early July. How's that? How do you like them apples? Because the weather is conducive and college coaches can come and watch you play. That would be a big bonus, wouldn't it? I would say fall ball for those in Iowa, those that are not a fall athlete, it's always going to be beneficial. You know, playing baseball is a great thing. And hey, look, I want to just say one thing before I start to wind down. Boy, oh boy, there's nobody that loves baseball more than me. And I used to literally think when I was a kid, man, when I was 22 to 37 and I was playing ball, I kept saying, I want to keep playing. I want to keep playing. I wonder what it's going to be like when I don't play ball. And I can tell you, I go watch games and I miss being in the dugout. I miss being between the lines. I miss that competitive hitter versus pitcher, pitcher versus hitter, and the competitive nature and spirit of baseball. I think it's a lot like chess and not so much like basketball or football. You can't inflict physicality in the sport. You have to be cerebral and you have to kind of think and approach. But I want parents to understand it's a finite window between, let's say, 14 and 24. That 10-year period, you cannot give 1 second of 1 minute of 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year away. You can't. Because right now it is their windshield. We as adults, I can look in my rear view. I don't even have to really pay attention to my side view because those days are gone. But when you're in high school and you're in college, a lot of kids want to look to the side view. How's that guy do? How's that guy? Oh, I hope that guy doesn't do well. Windshield. Be in your now. Be where your feet are and be maximizing this day, the time that you have to get better, to get bigger, to get stronger, to really enjoy everything that comes with childhood. Now, I am not trying to create a case that the boogeyman is lurking and trying to take people's money. But I will say to you that there are people that really don't have the knowledge of the academic, athletic dynamic at the high level high schools and colleges. There's that. That's one. Two, they may be plugged in a certain geographical region. They don't have the whole country. Or for that matter, they don't have all the levels or divisions. Next, some, not all, some do not particularly care for high school coaches because they consider them to be adversaries. I, on the other hand, regardless of what you seem to think about your school or your situation, a high school coach, man, oh man, that they play such an integral role. Whether they're an advocate from a college perspective or not, the majority of high school coaches are in it for the right reasons. They know your student athlete in the hallways, in the classes. They've watched them grow up. They've watched them go through elementary school, middle school, junior high, et cetera. And now they're at the high school. And when college coaches have a question, they typically want to talk to a high school coach. And so what I want you to understand is high school is a big part of this, but I want you to understand your student athlete's growth within the sport with regard to college does not begin, nor should you begin to initiate. Please hear me. If we take away anything from tonight's live Q&A, every week I get a call or an email, at least 5 to 10 a day. My student athlete is a sophomore. We're really beginning to get ready for August 1st and really want to kind of understand what tournaments, what events, what should I be doing? And I will always respond with, send me video, or how tall, what's your son's weight, give me an idea of what position they play. Because 9 times out of 10, the athletes aren't big enough, fast enough, strong enough, skilled enough to even begin to seek exposure because they're going to get exposed. And when you have all of these people saying, "Oh, you have people in your ear, oh, you're going to miss out on evaluation. Like, this is the only time that Alabama goes out to they are only outside the confines of the state of Alabama for one event. So you need to be there if you want to go to Alabama." No, you don't. No, you don't. If there is not a projectable tool, and I'm just going to break it down this way. If you're a left-handed hitter and you're a right-handed thrower, you need to be versatile, play multiple positions, meaning, again, left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower. Try to play infield, play outfield. Oh, by the way, if you catch, triple bonus points. Try to give yourself some versatility. Ball strike. Don't worry about your power till you have the ball strike, until you're making consistent, hard, loud contact. And then we can go work on power. But until such time you're hitting line drives, and I can just tell you, this whole HLP is bogus. It's bogus. It's hurting more than it's helping. But that's a story for another day. Line drives, play. Ball strike, play. Swing and miss does not. If you're trying to launch everything, that's not a projectable tool. Swing and miss, no bueno. Defensively, try to think, play every position proactively, meaning be athletic, be instinctive, watch more baseball. If you're not running a sub 7-1, like for instance, if you're a catcher or you're a corner infielder or a left fielder, as long as you can score from second base on a base hit, okay, that's really what they're looking for. But in reality, most college coaches are looking for sub 7 60-yard dashes. Most college coaches want to see most of their athletes above 185. Now, you can't control Mother Nature. You can't control your height, but you can sure as heck control your strength and size. And so please don't tell me you're going to go to a camp at 6'2", 156 to 165 as a junior in high school, a rising senior. Don't do it. You're going to be disappointed. Unless you're out there, with arm whip, and you're throwing, absolute flamethrowers at 92 plus. In pitchers, here's a novel idea. Make sure you have more than a fastball that you can throw for strikes, meaning you can actually throw a curveball or a changeup for a strike within the now really tight college strike zone, which I digress quickly. Understand this, and I get a lot of video from pitchers. Hey, can you send this to Coach so-and-so? No, I cannot. You didn't throw one pitch over the strike zone. Well, he struck 2 guys out. In college, they're not chasing that pitch. They're not chasing that high fastball at their eyes. They're not chasing the breaking ball that's bouncing in the dirt because you can't locate the fastball. If you can't locate the fastball or throw a secondary in the strike zone, most college hitters are not chasing at the rate that the high school kids are chasing. I promise. In the ABS system that we see in Major League and Minor League Baseball, it's coming to college baseball. So do not fall for the voices around you. You need to go to the showcase. You need to go to a camp. You need to go to this tournament. You need to be seen. You need exposure. Am I going to expose myself, or am I ready to be seen? If I'm ready to be seen, I want to find exposure. If I'm not ready to be seen, I don't want to be exposed. For the love of goodness, if we take nothing away from tonight, that's the one thing we should take. Wow, I must have opened up Pandora's box here. Let's see. You're very welcome. Enjoy Connecticut. I know it's still kind of cold, but it's getting warmer. Thank you about the book. I don't know what book you read, but I hope it's there's an E at the end. I'm going to get to that here in a second. My son, all right, let's get this one. My son is not of age yet. However, preparation is the key. Knowing what's happening today affects tomorrow. And thank you so much. We play 21 all the time. 21 is a great game. And I'm going to end on this because I do find that a lot of parents of younger athletes do want to find out what the landscape is. And let me break this down to you very simply and succinctly. One, if you're the parent of a, let's just call it little leaguer, 8 to 12, little diamond, small diamond, 45, 60, or 50, 70 bases in Cal Ripken. Just let them have fun. Let them play any position that they want to play. Let them have fun. And oh, by the way, try to practice more and play. Play. Do not participate. Do not try to chase competitive environment. The level of competition has to be better. I don't care if they're playing wiffle ball, stick ball, rag ball, anything they want to play on the streets, in the playground, at the sand lot, on a field. Let them play, and let them play as often as they want. Do not worry about what their swing looks like. Do not worry about anything. What you want them to do at 8 to 12, two things: be able to play catch. Be able to play a competitive game of catch, meaning they throw accurately, they move their feet, they can catch the ball, transfer the ball, and throw the ball to their partner. 1. 2, make sure, whether you play pepper, whether you play self-toss, just make sure that they understand how to get their barrel of their bat on the baseball. That's all that matters. Whether they bunt, whether they put balls on the ground, whether they pop up, you want to teach them how to swing a bat aggressively through the zone and enjoy being competitive swinging. They're going to swing and miss. They're going to strike out. They're going to take pitches that you wanted them to swing at. They're going to swing at pitches you wanted them to take. 8 to 12, please, for the love of goodness, let your kids have fun. 12, and when I say 12, 13 to 15 or 16, begin the process of introducing nutrition, strength, whether it's body weight exercises. Get an evaluation. Where is your student athlete? Where are they athletically? Are they mobile? Are they quick? Are they explosive? Do they have foot speed? Let them begin to just use weights under the proper supervision and begin to take their love, their passion, and their grit for the sport and begin to integrate it with strength and size. And parents, I can't emphasize this enough. Ages of 13 through 16, if you take the time to just take that one cue at that time and really get your student athletes engaged and involved with nutrition awareness, meal prep awareness, strength awareness, sprinting awareness, let them drive that bus. Let them go out and do body weight exercises. Let them do that stuff and then begin to integrate programs, strength programs from people that know what they're doing. Don't take group training programs from the football team, the lacrosse team, the hockey team, and apply it to your student athlete. You need that evaluation. And please, it's so much better. It's so worth your time, your effort, and your resources to do that for your student athlete when and if they display that love and that passion. And they really want to, like that young man that's 13 from Connecticut. Hey, I want to dream. I want to play varsity baseball as a freshman. Okay, here's what we need to do. It really is dependent upon strength. Size is a part of strength. And sleep and hydration, that all goes hand in hand with that. And oh, by the way, if we're going to learn algebra and we're going to take all of these honors classes, or we're going to talk about HLP and hitting and velocity and arm care at 13 through 16, you should be in the weight room. You should be looking into strength before any of that silliness starts to occur with velocity, Dr. Velocity, or, rocket fuel for an arm, or any of these places that want to teach your son how to be a robot as a hitter or a pitcher, forego that and add the strength and the nutrition and the meal prep. I promise you that pays so much more dividend. And you'll thank me when they're 16 through 19, when they have a foundation of strength and they're not playing catch up and they're not trying to chase, and they actually can get on a field and look to their side and look at the upperclassmen and say, I'm as big as him, I'm as strong as him, I'm as fast as him. Trust me, your athlete wants to be able to say that. And that will be meaningful and play a significant role if your student athlete has a desire to try and play beyond high school. Okay, a couple more questions coming in. 21 is a game that you can play whether you're playing catch, and if they hit this area of the body, that's 3 points. Anything at your shoulders is 1 point. Playing competitive catch, you can play that and you create a score system. A lot of college coaches, want to encourage catch play to be more of a competitive environment, and that's another thing that I really want parents to understand. Now, I know a lot of people on social media. First of all, I get screamed at by people in social media in my world that keep saying to me, your Tuesdays kill your YouTube channel. Nobody watches the long form. They just want 20-second intervals, and they want all this B-roll stuff, and they want lights and flashing metrics and all this stuff. I'm not going to do that. I just don't do that. But what I do offer that really I want you to understand, when I'm talking to college coaches, and this is a little bit of a brag flex, as the boys call it. College coaches say, hey, well, I was watching your show the other day, and we were watching it as a staff, and you were on point about that catch play. We try to tell our kids at camps, and we try to tell kids when we're out on the road, we watch your catch play. If you can't play catch, you can't play college baseball. And yet we hear it time and time again from coaches, but yet we don't. I have yet to hear an athlete say, I'm going outside to play catch with my dad. Is there anything I could work on? Yeah, play catch with your changeup. Don't throw any other pitch. Just play catch with your changeup with dad. And when dad can no longer catch your changeup, we're heading in the right direction. Play catch, play catch, play catch. Lastly, coaches' corners on Thursday nights should be, whether you want to listen to it at your leisure, whether you want to just put your headphones on and be working in your office or driving into work, you should go back and watch all of the hours or listen to all of the coaches and all of the information. It's gold. It's platinum. I talked to a coach today, and oh my gosh, he was laying things out to me. And this is a guy that played for an elite Division I school and is now a recruiting coordinator and pitching coach at a Division I school, high level of academics. And he said to me, well, when I go to watch a young man play, and they always think they have to throw their fastball, and all I'm really doing when I go there is watching their warm-up pitches. I'm like, really? He's like, I want to see, are they throwing their warm-up pitches, like to see if I have a feel for the changeup, or if I don't have a feel for the changeup and it's the third inning, am I using my 8 warm-up pitches to throw 8 changeups or 8 breaking balls? Because I haven't introduced that yet. I want to get my feel. So college coaches are kind of giving us some cheat codes if you're paying attention and if you're listening. And so I strongly encourage you to do so. Let's see, last question. And Mr. Smith, I never want to let you go. These Tuesday, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tuesdays, yes, exactly. Well, that's the last part of tonight that I want to kind of encourage. Listen, parents, I get it. It's frustrating. And I understand, boy, oh boy, as a dad, we parents, when we see our children upset or disappointed, man, something internally begins to stir, and we want to right the ship, and we want to, protect, and we want to go into Superman role. But I have to say this about college athletics. It's going to turn into it's going to become favorable for those high school athletes that are preparing against older athletes, meaning when your athletes are 16 to 19, you really need to be thinking about development against higher level skilled athletes. That doesn't mean you got to go play 25-year-olds. But, when I'm 16, I want to be playing against 18, 19-year-olds, 17, 18-year-olds. When I'm 17 and 18, I want to try to play against those 20, 21-year-olds. I really want to try to impress upon parents. There are going to be new concepts that are coming out that are going to kind of go against the grain a little bit, that are going to be multiple age groups, not just singular age groups. The singular age group whole concept is a business decision. It is not a developmental decision. And so I want parents to begin to understand the sooner you accept that college athletes are stronger, they're genuinely more skilled. As soon as you chart that course to allow your athletes at those 16 to 19s to begin to fall and fail, learn, get their repetitions, which will lead to retention, the smoother that transition will be from high school to college. Over the next few weeks, we are going to hear from a lot of college coaches. 3 things are about to happen. Keep your eye on social media. You're going to see a lot more athletes going into the portal that are seeking 4-year opportunities. 2, you're going to see a lot of high school seniors that are reopening their recruiting process. Be very careful. Those athletes, they're looking for opportunities and they're chasing. And that's when the predators come out. So really have an idea. And next, those parents that are of age, meaning they have college athletes, make sure before you make that decision to enter the portal that you have a plan. You need to talk to people. Like, the portal does not guarantee automatic entry to a new school. In fact, over 65% of athletes don't find a new home. So 3.5 out of 10 are finding a new home, most at a lower level. Very, very few go from, a lower level to a higher level. There are several, but not a lot. Most are going from up here down below. The ones that are going up, maybe they're an NAI or a graduate student that are, at a one school and going to a higher level Division I school. But my point is, over the next 3 weeks, as we begin to collect the data, and then starting on June 1st through the middle of July, expect chaos. There is going to be chaos. And beware of those people that are out there lurking and they have all the answers. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. Go into the portal. We'll get your name, image, and likeness. I have a lot of those people, and then they come to me at the second week in July saying, we have no takers. What are we going to do? Well, what did you do at the beginning of June? Were you prepared for the beginning of June? Who told you to enter the portal? That is really, it's pivotal, and you need to check those boxes. Let's see here. D2 sophomore, competitive conference in the South. Coach quits. Stay or hit the portal. Wants to stay South, considering teams in the same conference. If opportunity, looking for a better fit. Okay, so here's what I would tell you. If you're in the Division II, I'm going to go with the Sunshine State Conference for 200, Alex. Division II. And so you're in there with Florida Southern and Barry and Nova and Lynn and Tampa, Eckerd, all of those schools. If the coach has called it a day, you really want to kind of lay low and for the next 2 weeks, figure out what is the direction of a team. Typically, that coaching carousel is something that most parents never factor in, which is why I will always say to parents, please slow your process down, because the coaching carousel is about to hit. There are coaches that are going to retire. I won't use the word quit. There are coaches that are going to be asked to leave. I won't say fired. There are coaches that are going to become from recruiting coordinators to head coaches, Division III coaches becoming Division I coaches, Division I coaches going to major leagues. You have to gather all the information. Those that kind of tuck in and gather information and trust resources rather than chasing the voices of despair. But I would be an advocate of waiting to see who the new coach may or may not be. If you get closer to the first, I would look to try to enter the portal because you have that opportunity. Use it as a safety net. Don't throw yourself out there. You don't know who's going to become the head coach. The new head coach may have a great feeling or want your son to stay there at a Division II school. It's probably arguably one of the best baseball conferences in the country. I don't care about Division I, Division II, or Division III. The Sunshine State Conference is elite. So don't leave that for another. I've tried to answer everybody's questions. If you have other questions, walter@coachbeede.com. Also, for the sake of purpose, I want just to get this out there. Please do a couple things. Engage with the video. I keep asking this. We need to get a video that does 100 thumbs up. 100. We need 100 plus thumbs up. That would be A. Comment. Where are you watching from? What type of feedback do you want to give us? And please share the channel. Share it out. Go to the YouTube and share my YouTube link on your Twitter, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your TikTok. Share it. Share as much as you can. We're trying to get subscribers. This year's goal is 100,000 subscribers. I cannot do this without you. And the more that I want to think I'm helping you, and I would love to have you do the same. If you could help me with regard to growing the channel, the Blue Book, Proline, Corvive, Showball, all of these companies that we are working to diligently build this business. And oh, by the way, I had a coach say to me today, Proline, they go to Proline, excuse me, they go to Blue Book. They go to Blue Book and look at videos over and above emails. Blue Book has your X profile, your Instagram, they have your YouTube, all the things that parents use, but it's all stored in one place on the Blue Book. I had a coach say to me, I went to his Blue Book profile. I was able to see all his live at-bats. He keeps a really good video profile. All you have to do is you keep your transcript there. Like, it's a one-stop shop for a college coach. So for the love of goodness, download the Blue Book app. Create your profile, put your videos in there, put your transcript in there, and really put what you're looking for in a college, because the college coaches also using filters. And while I'm saying filters, we use everything in life with filters. You take a picture, you use a filter. You want to go to a menu and you got to download the QR code, you use a filter to look at chicken dishes, Mexican dishes, whatever. Blue Book has a filter. You can look at what colleges, what states, what majors, what positions they're looking for. Use the filters on the Blue Book app to get your fit down to size. And finally, the book. Now, I'm just going to say to people, if you want to know anything about me as a human being, it's all in this book. Again, my dad would have turned 85 on April 1st, 2026. And this year on Father's Day, I have written this book. It took me 5 years to write this book from an emotional perspective, because there's some heavy stuff in here that I don't think a lot of people really understand. I trust me when I tell you, this is not about a baseball glory days. I really don't even talk a lot about my baseball or anything like that, but it's a great book, but I'm doing it to honor my dad. You can get a free copy. All you have to do is comment, send me a free link. I will send you the free link, but you have to do me a favor. Do me a solid, and that is I need lots of Amazon and Goodreads reviews. Whatever you feel about the book, whatever you feel after reading the book, all I would like you to do is just put it on there so that it will create engagement. This book is about my dad. It's not about me. And for me personally, my dad's been gone since 1979. And he was 38 years old. And for me, this book carries his name forward. So please, if you could find your way to that, please just leave me a message. I will do so. Until next week, keep the questions. Have a great week in baseball. Keep the questions coming.